Greetings, everyone. Shea, Queen Divine here. You are my Money Matters coach. And today's Money Mindset Shift talk will be on being your own bank. Okay, so that's going to be the motto for April. So we just warming it up. So remember, March, we are finalizing March, the first quarter of the year. And March was all about how our money matters. And so we had 4 sessions. One was on your mindset, the morals or how money works. We also had a session on mentors, and then lastly, we talked about multiple streams of income. Okay, so today we're going to talk about being your own bank. Okay, and so I wrote this with my children in mind, the youth, those who have not set up, banking and checking accounts yet. And so even if you have, as most of us have, it still is prompting you to shift gears. So when most people get a job or a career, right, they open up a checking account. So when I think back, when I first started, I think my first bank might have been like PNC, right? Our parents, show us the way, go to a bank, set up a banking account, and when we back then we used to have checks, so you used to get your little paper check and you would either go cash it. So you had 2 options: either you would cash a check cash in place, right, and pay a cashing fee, or you would take it to your bank. So you could either cash your check at the bank, and of course it was for a fee, or 2, you could put it into your bank, right? Nowadays in 2020 we have direct deposit, so this was our first introduction to electronic transfers. And so I want you all to keep that word in your mind, electronic transfers. But nowadays we don't even see the check. The total monetary worth is transferred electronically into our banking accounts, checkings accounts, savings account. 9 times out of 10, some bank that's not owned by you. Okay, so again, now we have electronic transfers, right? When do we start getting these electronic transfers? I can't remember, but I'll go look it up. For me, I know by the time I started working in my career is when I started getting direct deposits. So this was around 2000, maybe by 2010, everybody was getting their money that they worked for, their earned income. They were getting that electronically transferred to them into their accounts, right? And so back then, have you ever noticed that, one, you can only withdraw a certain amount of your own money at any given day, right? Have you ever noticed that? Or have you ever noticed the amount of time that it takes for you to get your money back doesn't always equal the time that it took for somebody to take your money electronically? I always wondered these things, but I never worked in a bank. I never had access to people who, really worked at the bank, so I really, didn't know too much about it. So at some point, we waived our banking rights, right? At some point, we waived our banking rights. Okay? So as a human, we are all born with certain rights, right? They're given to us at birth by the Creator. No company, no government, nobody can give you these rights that were already given to you at birth, right? And so one of them was a banking rights. We all have the right to be our own bank. And so I challenge you today to ponder on that and just think about how would your life change if you were your own bank. Okay? So at some point we waived our banking rights and we allowed somebody else to control our money, right? So put it this way. Say you had $8,000, right, in your account. Most banks, if you want to go withdraw some cash, you would have to your minimum, your limit is $600, right? Say if you want to go to the ATM and take out some money, your limit is $600, right? So say if you do take out your $600, that leaves you with what? $7,400, right? It's still in your account. So even if you make your electronic transfers, even if you buying stuff, you still personally can't take out any more money, right? Even if the next day you took out another $600, right? That's still leaving you with $6,800 in your account that you personally can't touch. You can't take out. I mean, you can do your electronic transfers, but again, if you needed to take out your money from your bank, right, you gotta go through the loops and the ropes for all this, right? So what I found out through my circles of wealth, right? So now, because I am rich by association, because I am a part of, wealth circles, now I have knowledge that I didn't have before. So one of them are on banks, right? So banks, they have what is called a swipe account, right? And it's where they use the money that they tell us we can't touch, right? They use this money to trade in the foreign exchange markets, right? A lot of our people, they shy away from trading in the foreign market or trading in the exchange market. They shy away from investing because these weren't conversations that we had as youth, right? So if you look at the banking times, most banks close every day at 5 p.m., right? Most businesses do too, but most banks in America close at 5 p.m., or they used to, right? And so there is a direct correlation with the New York Stock Exchange market, right? The New York session closes at 5 p.m. every day, right? However, there are still 3 more trading sessions, right? There are 3 more trading sessions and they go for different time zones, right? So you still have the London market, you still have the Tokyo market, and you still have the Sydney market, right? So while the banks are closed and you have no access to go and withdraw your money, it is being used overnight to make trades in the market. So when it comes to like some of the fears that I hear people express when it comes to cryptocurrencies, some of them are, what if they take my money, or you're just going to lose your money, right? My mom will always say, you should just stick to the old way and make money, right? So some people actually do have that thought process, right? Another fear might be, I don't know anything about trading. I don't know anything about trading my money. I don't know anything about investing my money, right? Another fear might be, and this is one of the big ones, I'm going to get scammed. What if I get hacked, right? So many fear what they don't understand, and this is very important, right? Why do I say this? 4 years ago in 2017, I went to school for teaching online, right? I went to school online to learn how to teach online. And at this time, right before And it took me watching my children and their interaction with technology for me to realize that that was, an important aspect that was coming up in the future. So 4 years ago, started school teaching online, right? So everything I learned, I would come back and teach my students, right? I would teach my students. I would try to teach the other teachers. They like, whatever. Anybody going to school online? We're going to stick to the same way we've been going to school for all these years, right? So me not listening to them, I still implemented all my ways, my strategies, right? So fast forward 3 years, boom, COVID hits. Everybody is forced to go to school online. What do you know? I was in the right place at the right time. I was already prepared for this, right? I already saw this, had the foresight for it. So it took for a so-called pandemic, right? It took for a massive shutdown for everybody to get on the bandwagon of, hey, you have to go to school online, you have to learn online, and this is just what it's going to be, right? So going back to when I brought up electronic transfers, right? So again, I'm gonna go look it up, but if I look back in my experience, my first experience with electronic transfers or receiving my money electronically was in 2010. So, by that time everybody was getting direct deposits. We was first learning, not learning. We knew about, bank account numbers, but I never paid attention to routing numbers and, account numbers until I got my direct deposit. So just because you don't understand something doesn't mean that it's still not happening and that people are still not benefiting from it, right? So in my investment academy, we first learn about getting on the right side of money, right? So what is the right side of money? So the right side is where 1% of the people own 99% of the wealth, right? And so these are the investors, right? That's just period, right? And so the other part of these investors are business owners, right? So recently I just heard the quote that Albert Einstein said that the eighth wonder of the world was compound interest, right? So I've always remembered like little sprinkles of compound interest here and there, but of course the importance of it wasn't really stressed. And I was like, I'm a numbers person, so I didn't see the significance in it. I always heard it, but like it just seemed something untangible to me, right? So there's no other way to wealth, right, than compound interest. Okay, compound interest is the ability to earn a percentage of your money over time, right, consistently, right? So what kind of interest is this, right? Remember the goal. So one of the goals of my Money Matters coaching is to focus on the goal being to live off interest and not income, right? So the goal is to help 1,000 families reach financial freedom, right? And to be a part of the greatest financial transfer, right, in history, right? This will be for our people. So, other generations have transferred their wealth through generations before, right? But not our people, right? Every time our people got something, it was always sabotage. If you look back to the Black Wall Street, how they were bombed from the sky. This was a town and community of millionaires, multimillionaires. They had everything they did for themselves. They had a tight-knit community. However, they was bombed and destroyed. Literally everything that they had was destroyed. So anytime our people get something, it's destroyed. So what's going on now in the cryptocurrency world is allowing, if our people just tap in, right, we cry for reparations and this, that, and the third. Like, you got to repair yourself. Give yourself your reparations, okay? So that's what I'm here to do, right? But this is about to be the greatest generational financial transfer, right? What we are doing now, we are going to be able to transfer our wealth to generations to come, right? And I don't think people understand how big that is, but we'll come back to that another day, right? That's going to be the next one. The greatest generational financial transfer, okay? That's going to be the next topic. However, so back to compound interest. So what are the ways of obtaining this compound interest, you may ask, right? So it's investing and owning businesses. So when you own businesses, you use that money to invest, right? And get more businesses, right? But so the left side, so we talked about this is the right side of money. So the left side of money is where most of us start off, right? So this is where 99% of the people own 1% of the wealth, right? And so these are the employees and the self-employed, the people who still trade their time and energy for money, right? There's no shots. However, we all start somewhere, right? But the goal for us, it should to all be to end up on the right side of the money, which is to be an investor and an independent business owner, okay? And so you do this by being your own bank, okay? So most of us, like, why do we bank? Why do we hold our money in a bank? Have we ever asked ourselves that? Like, why do we hold our money in a bank? I did, and it was because I was told to, right? I thought, well, and me being told to keep my money in the bank, right? I used, of course, if you keeping your money in the bank, you're thinking you're agreeing to them to secure it and protect it for you, right? They're not growing it for you. They haven't grown my money for me. Every time I would get a little statement at the end of the year, they say, ooh, 1%, or just, I would get 1 cent. 1 cent each year. 1 cent. Oh, here, a little percent. 1 cent. If it wasn't money I saved, the money in the bank didn't grow. It didn't grow unless I put money into it, okay? That's not making our money make money, right? If the only way that it grows is if we put money into it, if it's not physically growing, it's not an appreciating asset, okay? It's not an asset at all, right? So cryptocurrency was created to be an encrypted digital currency, right? I know that's a lot. And it was created to be decentralized, right? Our current banking system is centralized, right? There are central banks everywhere around the world, right? And this is where most of the information is stored. And so when we think of getting hacked and scammed, like, how many times have we heard of, security breaches, stolen identities from everyday people, right? The system got hacked. The bank, got all this credit card information, social security numbers. It happens, right? But who owns these banks, right? Who owns the banks? Who owns the banks? Who owns the Federal Reserve? Your government? No. It is not ran by the government. It is controlled by the most richest and corrupt families around the world. You should look it up to see who owns your bank, right? I looked it up. I knew a few of these names, but I didn't know all these names. So here are the people that own the world's banks. The Rothschilds, we already know them. The Rockefellers. Okay, we got Swift. We got Warburg. We got Morgan. We got Harriman. We got the Lazar brothers. We have Goldman & Sachs, the Brown brothers, J. Henry Schroeder Banking Company, and we got the Lehman brothers, right? All of them have controlled the American dollars, the American banks since the Titanic sunk. Right? And most people haven't even been aware of this. Most people probably don't give two shits about who owns their bank and who controls their money. Right? But I do. So as I looked into this, I realized that our dollar no longer has no value, right? Back then, before that happened, our dollar used to be actually backed by gold. You actually could take your dollar to the bank and get silver and gold. However, a federal mandate require all people to turn in their gold, and if you can find a dollar before 1914, you'll see on it that it'll say this dollar is backed by gold. You can redeem it for its value in gold or silver. However, they erased that, so it's no longer a trace of that. Our pennies used to be copper. However, they changed the printing of that, so now we really just have paper and some coins, right? And so cryptocurrency was created to be appreciating assets, right? These are assets that grow over time, right? And not just over time, not just over a month, not just over years. Some of these projects, right, you can literally see double in your eyes within a day, within a few days, within some weeks. Right? And if you want to do some research just to see how these assets can appreciate, I bid you to go to CoinGecko.com. CoinGecko is where all of the cryptocurrencies are listed. You can look them up by market cap to see how much money is actually flowing through those coins. You can look it up by the percent, how much the coin has grown in 24 hours, in 7 days, and in the last year. You can also read about each of the projects, but I just want our people, right, to just open up their eyes and learn the value of being your own bank, right? So in cryptocurrency, I have been able to take control of my own money because number one rule is you're your own bank. You're responsible for your own money. If you don't keep up with it, right? So one of the first things that we do when we come into this is we secure the bag, right? You always hear people use that so loosely, but we secure the bag. Okay, and so we start by encrypting our own information, right? We start by encrypting our own information by using encrypted emails. Most emails, Gmail, iClouds, they're connected to our phones. If if somebody were to, switch your phone, if you go to a phone store, you know how you go to the phone store and they just switch your phone number onto another phone? If they were to do that, they could still have access to any accounts that you have linked to your iCloud and to your Gmails, your Yahoo, any of those aren't encrypted, right? Now, sometimes for Google, you might have that two-step authenticator there, but even still, that's not top security and protection there, right? So again, one of the first things that we do is we secure, we encrypt our information, right? 2, just like inside of your banking account, you have your checkings account and your savings account. Inside of crypto, you have wallets. Okay, so with these wallets, they have a public key and a private key. So just like we have banking routing numbers and banking account numbers, these kind of act the same as your public and private key, right? And so when you are your own bank, you is the responsibility is on you to, secure and protect this stuff. So now you actually have to protect and guard your passwords, because you're not just using, you know your IG passwords or whatever passwords. You are actually, going through the two steps, the 2-3 steps to secure your info. So the founders of the blockchain technology, right, they wanted the everyday person to be able to be their own bank. So that's why I support cryptocurrency so much. Again, they are appreciating assets, right? And we're able to protect the securities assets. We are able to grow our accounts by investing. And most importantly, most people have jobs and careers, one, to earn a paycheck, right? To support their well-being, to take care of whatever. Well, when you are your own bank, and when you understand the value of appreciating assets and compound interest, you come to the point where you literally begin to pay yourself, right? When you work a regular job, they always tell you, pay yourself first, pay yourself first. Excuse me. And that's cool. However, you still, worked for that money. When you are your own bank, the money that your money made pays you, right? It hits different, right? And so I just hope everybody understands that. Our next topic is going to be on the greatest transfer of financial wealth, right? And what that's going to do. So if y'all have any questions, then let me know. If you have any questions about being your own bank, right? So I'm going to be the first bank of the divine, right? The divine first bank, first divine decentral bank. So I hope y'all enjoy y'all Sunday. And I'll see y'all next time.